Hello there, everyone. Okay, so start of a brand new week, and the plan that we've got is we're going to be showing, first of all, what the best performing deck is for Lady Bullseye, but we're also going to look at a kook that was recommended by a viewer. So we're going to look at the two and just see how they're both performing in general. So let's get into it. Okay, so when we're looking at what the best performing decks are via Untapped, first thing we see is a Ahivo shell. That does make a lot of sense. You can just play a Scar. Well, you can play Lady Bullseye perhaps on turn 6 after a Warlock's discounted your hand. Or you could play Lady Bullseye on turn 3, just try and get an early bit of benefit off it. Now, I'm not too surprised the win rate and the cube rate aren't drastically high there. I don't feel like Lady Bullseye will do too much that will really impact what that deck was already doing. Now, when we look here, the win rate on this Ascani shell, it's not great either. I mean, 48.8% win rate, 0.08 cube rate across 300 games. That is pretty rough. So it does feel like Lady Bullseye's not really found a great home yet. And if we just scroll down a little bit and we just go into like the experimental territory of below 200 games, I mean, this kind of catches my eye on the left, where we've got like a Polaris Horseman of Pestilence, was she? The Polaris one, anyway, the Horseman Polaris. And yeah, there's some interesting stuff there again in a high Evo build, but I don't know, it just feels a little bit weird still. Let me show you what was recommended to me by a viewer. It's the deck we're going to run today, and let's see if that's closer to the mark. So this deck was recommended by Jason V8772. I don't really know if that was meant. Maybe Jason. I can't work out what that might be if it was the numbers, but numbers were letters. Anyway, this is what the deck is. Let's break down what the pieces of the puzzle represent. Okay, so we've got Sunspot. We've got end of turn, gain one, a +1 power for each unspent energy. In any deck where you're trying to take advantage of unspent energy, which Lady Bullseye will be looking to do, Sunspot makes sense, so great inclusion. We've got Jim Hammond, Human Torch. I actually do like this idea in terms of why it will be here. Essentially, we're going to be trying to gain bonus energy, so Jim Hammond just makes sense. You might as well have him as a late game payoff. Then, star of the show, Lady Bullseye, 2/2 stat line. On reveal, afflict an enemy card with -2 power, repeat on a different enemy for each of your unspent energy. So, I feel like the best thing we've seen of Lady Bullseye so far has been in Team Clash, at least for me personally. I've seen it and used it a lot in the X-Men deck, and just the idea that you're able to play it very late on, you've mastered a load of energy, and then you can just play the Lady Bullseye and she'll just wreck your opponent's power. I actually think she is well suited to that sort of shell, and I think that's what we're trying to feed into here. Then we got Grandmaster, 2/3 stat line. On reveal, move one of your other on reveal cards here to the middle location. Its ability happens again. So if we were to play Lady Bullseye on the left or right, we can play Grandmaster and move it into the mid. Nice and straightforward. We've got Storm, Horseman of Famine, a 3/1 stat line. Objective, end 2 turns in a row with unspent energy. The reward, give your other cards here and in your hand +2 power. Honestly, Storm could work well in this deck. If we just float turn 1, don't use all our energy turn 2, we'll be able to play Storm turn 3 and get a payoff. So, nice ability just to gain some power in hand. Then we got Magic, 3/2 stat line. On reveal, replace this location with Limbo. Doesn't work after turn 5. Now, just before I carry on, I want to just clarify something. I know I got this green split for Magic recently, but I can't remember where I got that white crackle from. I know I'm still working on the Inferno variant. We've got the gold diamond flare, but I can't remember where the white crackle was. It that? That was a while ago. Sorry, I know that's a complete distraction, but I genuinely thought it was a newer variant. Alright, never mind. Let's move on. We've got Lunar Snow, a 3/6 stat line. On reveal, add an ice cube to each side of this location. And the ice cube, at the start of each turn, get +1 energy, then destroy this if your side is full. Great ramp card. We've got Shang-Chi, 4/3 stat line. On reveal, destroy an enemy card here that has 10 or more power. I'm going into variant territory again here. Oh, I've just realised you guys can't see my variants, but I've got a lot of Shang variants, but the only one I've not taken up is this pixel. I feel like a lot of them are either gold, granted not the best flare there, or they're inked like this. We've got an ink here, an ink and a crackle here. We've got a crackle here. We've got ink and crackle. We've got another ink but a tone. Is it a flare? Yeah, white tone flare. We've got gold here with a red tone flare. We've got red crackle gold background. We've got the, what is it, cosmic flare and a gold finish. I know it's just weird going through all the Shang variants there, but I'm like, I need another Shang. I need another variant because I don't like working on the pixels. I'm not a pixel enjoyer myself. So I don't want to be upgrading this, but I feel I need another Shang because this has been my go-to variant now for a long time. So I need to see something different. I'm even tempted to pick the base Shang just for that reason. So let's swap that in. Then we've got Symbiote Spider-Man, a 4/7 stat line. Activate. Merge your lowest cost card here into this. Copy its text like it's just revealed. So again, just a great way of repeating a non-reveal or gaining more benefit out of a non-reveal, which we will get if we play the Fallen one, a 5/5 stat line. On reveal, set your max energy equal to this card's power. So if we play Symbiote Spider-Man in an empty lane, then play Fallen one, activate Symbiote Spider-Man, we get 13 max energy for the final turn. Then we've got Star-Lord, Master of the Sun, aka Sunlord. 5/7 stat line, on reveal, next turn you get +1 energy for each turn you've ended with unspent energy. And say it's been a bit of a notorious card. I'm kind of okay with it now. I don't particularly like using it, but I will admit it isn't my deck cook, so I'll follow the recommended. But even now, it just makes me cringe. Maybe it's just like recent traumas from it, and I'm like, okay, I still don't like you. And then finally, we've got Alioth, 6/7 stat line, on reveal, remove the text from all unrevealed enemy characters here. And yeah, that is the deck. So largely it's a ramp shell, but it's also got ways of carrying on if you're just skipping energy. So I think there's a lot of potential here. We're going to do 10 games. Let's see how it gets on. M1K3. All right. Skip turn 1. Not by choice, but by necessity. We could... Well, we probably will be skipping turn 2 because Grandmaster tempo is not ideal. Maybe if we get Sunspot, it's worth playing that. Yeah, let's just float. So, turn 3. Magic's sort of screaming out at us.
Opponent snapped.
Go on, we'll do that. Am I silly for not really being too bothered about people snapping when I'm at infinite? I kind of just sit here and I'm like, okay, you snap. You know, you do what you want. Okay. I don't particularly want to play either of those. So, we're going to skip again. Shuri. Let's do Sunlord. Nimrod? Yep. That is +3 energy, so... What can we do? Realistically, I should have played that right to repeat the on-reveal. I did not think of that. I actually don't mind doing that in terms of we could potentially Grandmaster it with the Symbiote Spider-Man. It would only proc once this turn. Phoenix Force. So 17 power Nimrod. It has to be said, that is lame in itself, isn't it? Okay, that's a fair amount of floated energy. And honestly, it might not be enough to win. So I think... that was a weird voice I did. I think we're just going float. Let's see if we can just benefit from 2 procs of -9. Probably not. It's going to be massive with Carnage and probably Venom. Maybe Adamantium Infusion, but let's see. Yeah, Venom and, like I say, I guess Adamantium Infusion. No. Okay. We haven't got enough. Alright, let me just send an emote to this guy. There you go, take my cubes. Alright, so... not much I could do there, let's be honest. I mean, I didn't really have ideal playlines in terms of... we didn't have like a Sunspot or a Jim Hammond to sort of just take a benefit of all the extra energy we got. By the time we got Sunlord down, there wasn't an ideal playline, so... yeah, a little bit disappointing. I could have potentially tried Shang-Chi here, but then we would have lost negative powers. So, yeah. Hard to say what the answer would have been there. Alright. I am Caesar. Alright, if that's what you say, pal. We'll play Jim Hammond mid, actually. Hotel Inferno. You know what, it just occurred to me I should have floated, so that was dopey of me. Hold my hands up to a misplay. We're going to skip another turn just to allow Storm to proc if she wants. Okay, from here, I figure we can do this. That's poor timing on their part. I mean, had my Ice Cube revealed first, then Stick would have been buffed. Yeah, let's do that. I would like to extend the game, let's say that. Okay, so Silver Surfer First Steps is going to copy Stick. I like the idea.
Opponent snapped.
Okay. It is oh so tempting to do that. Oh!
Power must be controlled.
Okay, I'm chuffed about that. That was a An accidentally good read, but I'll take it. Yeah, props as well for making a big Galactus like that. That's the kind of I do appreciate with Galactus, but we lucked out. I will take the win. Let's go. Okay, Punisher War Machines in their deck, well, in their hand. Kylex. I'm going to try and say that as... we're going to float turn 1. Then turn 2 we'll play Jim Hammond and the Chimichanga. Ooh, wow, okay. That opens up the realms of possibility a bit. I don't mind that. Dormammu. Okay. That is an Arisham Dormammu. Okay, let's go... I mean, I'm assuming they got the bonus energy then, so surely that can be turned off. Oh, of course Punisher War Machine wasn't down. Oh well. It was more important that I had room to play the Ice Cube than for stop them. Although they will have, what, 7 energy now? Bit rough. Okay, we're on turn 4 and I don't want to play either of these yet, so I think I'm just going to float. And so that was an Arisham card. And that was an Arisham card. You see, Fallen One's not doing anything here. I think we do that and just float some more. Maybe we get Grandmaster and we can move that mid. Not great options right now, though. Floating 4 gets us a bit ahead in the left. Arisham and Loki. Okay, that did give us priority. I would like to do this. And the only reason I'm ordering it that way is I don't really know which one I want, if I want to afflict them or destroy Hulk. So it kind of feels like that. Actually, saying that wouldn't be the right order, would it? Yeah, let's just do that. Play it there. I don't know why I was thinking that.
Power must be controlled.
It's only one negative, but could be a helpful affliction like that. Ooh, they've got their own. I'm guessing it's mine. Alright, win by 1. I mean, very rare you can say you've won a lone location on with 1 card with 1 power, so I'll take that. Also, an interesting little side point, the only cards they played were Loki and Arisham of their own. I mean, that was bad RNG, I guess, from their side, that they didn't get any of their own cards, or at least didn't want to play them. Spawn with a Scorn profile a portrait, that's the word. Okay, so we can skip turn 1 unless we fancy just destroying nothing. Feast. Let's play Jim Hammond there. So Horseman Storm is quite happy there. I don't mind playing Symbiote Spider-Man there this turn. Okay. And we're going to play Storm this turn. I've got no idea what they're cooking with their Symbiote Spider-Man, though. It feels maybe Nimrod-y. Oh, they're doing 4-1-1. Okay. How much energy do we have? 7? Alright. We can cook. Let's do that. Oh, hang on. Do we want to do that? I don't think we do. Yeah, because that's going to stop us from playing cards there, so we've got to make sure we win the lane. We could always Shang mid. Oh, okay, magic. That opens it up for us. They Shuri. They Nimrod. And they Venom.
Venom.
I've got a play line that's crazy, but we're going to do it. Worst case scenario, we just double the fallen one. I mean, I feel like we've got to try and get rid of that Venom. The worst case scenario is that we hit the Nimrod twice. Well, I say Nimrod twice, as in one's already over here. Oh, okay. Resurrecting magic.
Power must be controlled.
Okay. Something tells me they will have Null in the deck, which is not ideal. I mean, based on the power on the board, I think we just go like this. Float with Sunspot and just try and afflict him for -14. I mean, 4 cards getting -14, that should reduce the power on the board a bit. Downside is if they have got Null, they've got options. And I can't challenge in Death's Domain. I'm a little surprised it didn't go Shuri there. But in a way, it does make some sense. Okay, we're down to 35 in the mid.
Wakanda forever.
20. Still in the lead. Not bad. It was a bit of a harsh negative that we -9 on Storm. Yeah, -9 Storm, but everything else kept us going. So, how much did we afflict negatively there? Yeah, it was 2 on that Nimrod. I mean, that was after. 2 there. I don't know, it feels like I could have done more there, but saying that, we did get the win, so I don't know what I'm complaining about. Alright, we're up against Wixer Soul. Some fun names in here. Okay, we just skip turn 1, because if anything, we're going float until turn 2. Okay, we can play Sunspot. And Warlock. This is a nice variant, that. with that. We'll play both. Okay, Werewolf by Night. I haven't seen that card in a while. I would like magic. Instead, we get the Fallen one. This is a bit awkward. That will be +3, but I think it'll reveal then gain the power. Come on, let's just try it. Is that Shang? Yep. Going back to the old thing. Shang-Chi always hits Doc Ock. Or gets pulled by him. Yeah, it's 5 power, so we don't really benefit there. Although we are winning Luke's bar as it stands. I mean, I could do that, but I would definitely be hitting magic with it. Oh, I think I'm saying that. No, you know what? I'm kind of happy there. Like, saying that werewolf could be moved there, so let's... I'm in two minds, but I'm going to play Symbiote there. Ooh, that was a tempo Shang-Chi if I've ever seen one. Okay. Trying to outpace Luke's bar. I'm kind of happy just rolling with that and seeing what happens. It's so crazy just playing a 2-power card on turn 6, but that is going to be -12 power across 30 power on the board. So they should be down to 18 versus my 11, 20... Actually, saying that, I've still got to climb with Sunspot, so it would be 11, 29 and 8. So they're going to put some numbers down to overcome it. I'm not saying they can't, just that it is a challenge. I imagine they will try and do something in Luke's bar. If they've got a polymorph, they'll probably do that. Try and get a full cost. They might try and do something in Feast to get that Zabu up to a 2, but I know for myself, I don't like doing that, just in case it turns into a Carnage or something. Alright, fair chunk of negative power on the first bunch. And again, fair amount on the second bunch. Loki, wow. Copycat.
Power must be controlled.
Okay, I respect it. And Fastos pulls the werewolf back right. But we're quite comfy. Interesting build. I mean, Zabu, Loki, Merlin, Werewolf, Fastos, Copycat. The Super Adaptoid wasn't the Super Adaptoid, it was... I can't even remember what that was off the top of my head. It was... You know, I'm looking on the deck list and I can't see it there. Was it a summon or something? Anyway, point being, yeah, it's a bit unfortunate how that played out, but sorry, a bit unfortunate. It was a bit, you know what? I don't even know what I'm saying. We won. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, Tarnax. Very tempting to magic that location. We'll see what the next two locations are, though. Natural float choices here. We haven't got anything for one cost, for instance. Alioth is a bit of a shame. That's a surprise card gone. We don't want to get rid of that, because ideally I pull Alioth back. So yeah, we'll magic left. Then we can Symbiote Spider-Man right. We can Star-Lord right. Okay, I respect that. Agony Vision isn't something I've seen a lot of, so it's kind of cool. We can Jim Hammond, Sunlord, and double it. Okay, they've got their Juggernaut back. Mother Ascani. And Killmonger. Bit of a shame that in terms of timing. Okay, so we get 11 energy. I would argue we do that. Actually, can I? No, I actually did like that. We do 1, 2, and 3. Still a fair amount of float in there. I want to make sure, if anything, we got our Alioth back, because I think with priority that could be quite good. Unfortunately, we don't have priority. Okay, 12 energy. I mean, I know we aren't floating doing this, but I kind of like it.
Opponent snapped.
You know what? I'll let you snap. Even if I lose, I don't mind. I actually want to see what your final play is. Okay. Kill Nightcrawler, Surfer.
Power must be controlled.
Alright, bit of a shame that, because that would have won, maybe not won the middle lane, but I did forget about Jug. It would have been +2, so 6 power plus the 1. We would have tied the mid. So yeah, we won to 1. We didn't have enough with the Shang-Chi left, but interesting game. Okay, we're up against Dish. We've got Feast as a starting location. If we get 1 cost now, it would be kind of nice. I mean, I called it. We're playing polar opposite games. They want to stay on tempo, I want to avoid it. Okay, we're going to play Lunar Snow mid. Jubilee. Red Hulk. Okay, that Red Hulk's going to get big. What a difference in X-Mansion cards. Right. We'll play Jim. And we'll play Storm Horseman. Man, oh man. Dracula. Okay, so we haven't got magic. I think we do that. Shang could come out the deck. The other three would be wasteful. I'm going to hold on. Ooh.
We are the future.
I'm not sure that hurt me badly, but it does stop Grandmaster. Okay. I think we just do that.
Opponent snapped.
I'm not saying it with confidence, but let's try it. Just let Sunspot grow and hope that we get enough hits on the right. Okay, Giganto holds that lane. That'll do me.
Victory.
I mean, I go back to it, right? Lady Bullseye, I can understand why she's maybe not performing. But when you're playing a deck like this, it does feel like it's got some value, you know, and I think the X-Men deck in Team Clash is the ultimate example of it. Just the idea that you're able to just, as long as you're gaining energy, then you're able to exploit it via Lady Bullseye. So I do think she's got some potential. Just to clarify, because I realised I didn't actually show it, this was the Team Clash deck I was talking about. So you've obviously got the 6 standard Team Clash X-Men cards, but then you've got Sunspot, Lady Bullseye, Sage, Magic, Wong, and Mother Ascani. Now, I'll be honest, I feel like Mother Ascani you can do quite a bit with. I mean, when I've been playing the deck, it feels okay to Mother Ascani Cyclops, Lady Bullseye, Sage, Wong. You've got options. And they were just the first ones that come to my mind when I'm saying that. You could probably do something like Jubilee, Professor X. It's probably got less value, but it's still an interesting option. But with Professor X's ability here, if you get +1 energy each turn for each of your X-Men in this location, if you fill up a location, play Prof X, you're going to end up with so much energy. And it just feeds Lady Bullseye's late game turn. Especially if you can set up a Wong or even Mother Ascani do double Wong, it is really broken. And I can't help but think that in normal play, there will be a version of that. We just haven't nailed it yet. I think this with the Fallen One's something along the right lines. Okay, gods. Are they monsters? Okay, we skip turn 1. Hopefully it's not Sunlord, because I don't want... hopefully it's not Sunlord or Grandmaster. I don't particularly want to be having to Grandmaster the Sunlord if I want to use it. And it's gone down. Okay, Shauna. Great. Okay. So we've been iced. At least we haven't been punished if we move. At least that wasn't in the middle. Let's play that. I won't play it there, but I don't want to be risking that, so let's just play it right. Oh, they're doing a destroy deck, so yeah, I'm going to lose this Ice Cube very shortly. Well, it does tell me not to play Sunspot. Let's get rid of Grand Central. You know, I should have twigged that it was a destroy deck because X23 was on the board. I think in my mind, I was that distracted by the Shauna and the Sun Lord. I forgot about the X-23. Okay. Again, I don't want to play these one costs. Let's just repeat Sun Lord. Get it out of the way. There's Null. That's +3. Plus another one for the Ice Cube. I think we just Lady Bullseye and impact the Deadpool. I mean, you destroy that, you get a -2 Deadpool now, so for me, that's a win.
I want the throne.
I definitely need to change my underwear.
Kinda nice to see Null decreasing in power as well. We can Symbiote Spider-Man there. They've already played Killmonger. So I figure let's just do this. I'd be surprised if they've got like a Misery or something to repeat the Killmonger. Wolverine, Venom.
Enough said, bub.
Yeah, the Null is still not at 10. That is slightly irritating. I think what I'm going to do is... You know, I think I will just full float. As much as it's tempting to play Horseman of Famine, I'm thinking let's just float. Just see if that's enough.
All hail Hydra!
That's 6. Oh, it's 8 even. Okay. Alright, I'm taking that. I mean, it was bold just to do a symbiote merge final turn, but it worked. Alright, next one. Alright, Chubs. Superflow is nice. It allows us to play Sunspot early. I don't want to play Magic turn 2. Unless it's a really bad middle location. No, I'm fine holding here. And say Sunspot can take that 3 energy and absorb it.
Friendly neighborhood Spider-Man here.
Alright, I respect what they were thinking there as far as play it there so that it can't stay there. Mosh Pit. What is it, that variant? Zhonggyang. Huh, interesting. I can't say I recognise the variant. Okay, let's just go for Symbiote Spider-Man. Okay, a little bit of a bummer. I should have gathered they'd do that, because this does scream of disruption. Let's do that. Because I like Superflow. I don't want Superflow turning off if we can help it. But if we can disrupt them, we'll do it. Iron Fist. Alright, I'll give them the due. They were going to win the raft, so I did time that well. And then Web Sling. Okay. Kinda cool. Let's do Storm and Lady Bullseye. I'd be surprised if they didn't move the Spider-Punk. Okay, so an Afflict kind of push deck. Interesting. Yeah, we haven't really got much here. They've got Prio as well. Let's just do that for now. If they got a Kingpin, that could be frustrating. Although if they have, they might think, wow, Kingpin did something. Hazmat? Alright, give you full props for the cook here. Yeah, Scream's going to punish that. It's a frustrating one, that. It's all such low power. Jim is at the start of each turn, so I can't really do much other than Alioth. Which is not really a thing. Yeah, a bit of a shame, that one. I don't think there was too much I could have done. I mean, I kind of got put into a bad spot when Sunspot went into the same lane as the Symbiote Spider-Man. So at that point, it's like, okay, I can't do any any decent merges with Symbiote Spider-Man. So you're kind of in a weird spot where you're thinking, well, what can I do? And yeah, we managed to merge. It would have prevented a Killmonger if they'd got that. But yeah, even that last turn, it wouldn't have really done much if we'd have had priority, because Alioth wouldn't have done anything. Yeah, bit of a disappointing one, to be honest. One point to note, and I know this is covering the screen, but we had 18 power there, and they only had 1 there. So really, all I needed to do was play left. Play left and I win. Now that is disappointing when I think about it. Okay, Zargon. I think this is the final game. Skip turn 1. We can... Oh, hang on, I've just realised, got the wrong screen on. You guys could see that I've got the wrong deck showing on my screen as well. For some reason, the Snap.fan overlay will sometimes lag like this. Thankfully, I've got the one you guys can see to look at as well. Okay, so Lunar Snow mid. Let's play Symbiote. Ideally, we've got enough to play Fallen 1 and Magic. Maybe that's a little bit greedy. Starbrand. And I'm Patriot. Well, we have got the energy I wanted. Let's do that, and let's do that. One more turn. Oh. You spoil sport. Marta. Well, there goes that plan. So, what are we going to do to win this? Okay, I'm not sure what the fast forwarding's all about. I don't know if Starbrand's confusing things. I kind of like the idea of doing this for now. And then we've got Shang and Lady Bullseye for the final turn. Ooh, Man Spider. Lizard. Stardust. Alright, my gut is saying I need to Shang. But where? We've got 3 good targets. I think we go here and then go here. You know what? No, I'm going to go the way around. Simply because 5 cost there is bigger, so maybe it'll bridge a gap. Although I'm immediately doubting that. Let's swap it back round. Yeah, that gets rid of the negative of Lizard. They're both below 10.
Power must be controlled.
Alright, so that gets rid of Wilson Fisk. But that's surely not enough. No. Okay. I felt it was worth staying in for, but yeah, didn't pan out the way I wanted. Okay, so final result. 6 wins, 4 losses, 60% win rate, plus 4 cubes. I didn't snap, so I'd call that a good result. Now, I can understand the weaknesses of this deck. It does feel like there's a few pieces that you'd need in terms of making combos happen. So when I didn't get magic, it felt a little bit awkward. I didn't disclaim this at the start of the video, but it was featured location time. We had Feast as the featured location, so that was helping out in terms of getting extra energy. But if that wasn't there, I think that could have also impacted us a little bit in terms of not being able to play out certain cards ahead of curve. Now, in general, I do think that this highlights the strengths of Lady Bullseye. You know, the comment that I had from Jason was essentially, this is the deck that sorts a problem out. And I do agree with the idea of what's being put forward here, as far as we've got ways of benefiting from extra energy, and we've got ways of benefiting from floated energy. So I do like a lot of what we see here. I think the issue just comes down to draw. You know, sometimes if you're not getting the right pieces, it can feel very up in the air. So yeah, very unfortunate. Well, I'd say very unfortunate about those 4 games we lost. I feel like there was just not a lot we could do in them. So yeah, overall, I think the deck's quite good. It's certainly better than the ones I cooked, or at least the one I cooked on Thursday. But yeah, I feel like there's maybe something still to be done. Just want to elaborate on what I just said. When I say something more to be done, I can't help but have that Team Clash deck in my head and think that that is the busted version that I think would allow Lady Bullseye to really shine. So I'm not saying that this version isn't like that. You know, you've got multiple ways of ramping energy. It's just, it feels like it needs that little something more. So, I don't know, maybe there'll be another puzzle piece in the future that will really do it. But that's it for Lady Bullseye now. I don't know what I'm going to be doing in terms of featuring cards again in the future. I always feel like it has to be a natural inclusion after the first week. So we've got Jeff and some of the other beach variants, beach cards coming in the new season. I'm going to be doing a preview video for the first week tomorrow. Wednesday we'll be covering Jeff. Maybe we'll do another card in there. We'll see how it lines up. Thursday, if I'm right, we'll be covering the other card. I'm trying to think what that is off the top of my head. Monstro. And then Friday, free-to-play day. Now, I'm going to give you a heads up, folks. The ending of that video will be well worth a watch. I recorded it earlier, and let's just say it's probably my worst moment in Marvel Snap in terms of how much regret I had on my face at the end. Tune in for that if you want to see it. Other than that, folks, if you haven't already, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you want to see Marvel Snap videos, and until next time, have a good rest of your day. Goodbye for now.